Are they actually even in the title race?
I mean, it's harder, right? I mean, there's some big games in February, right? Speaking of Girona, we'll find out, by the way, because Real Madrid's playing against Atleti, and I think the week after they're playing Girona. Both games in Madrid. If Real Madrid wins those two games, I think they run away and win it. I still think Real Madrid are favorites to win it all. I mean, it would be a great story for Girona, I suppose, but I don't know if they can sustain that for the rest of the season. Look, this is a different Atleti. This is one that I like. What Morata and Griezmann are doing are incredible. That is a story in itself for me, right? I have a soft spot for Cholo Simeone. I think the longevity and the sort of a manager he is, and how much he's gotten out of Morata and Griezmann, who, like Joao Felix, left, went to Barcelona, came back. One wonders what would have happened if he stayed. I almost want to say the same thing about Joao Felix, because I think ultimately that's his place. He's just going to man up a little bit, and he's got one of the greatest managers that I think can show him the way how to stay consistent.
Well, Joao Felix obviously had a big, important goal for Barcelona at the weekend, and there had been talk about whether he would be, moving on and not staying around at Barcelona. But did he just change the way that they're going to see him with that goal?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, again, so inconsistent, right? You thought after a start that he was going to go from strength to strength. I mean, it's crazy to think how Barcelona would even keep him. I mean, financially, I don't think they're capable of doing it. So he can definitely help them, but he's been as inconsistent as ever, right? I mean, everywhere he's gone, be it Atletico Madrid or Chelsea or Barcelona. So there's something. I mean, maybe he's most consistent for Portugal, I suppose. But one player that in a way I'm disappointed, but I still believe that if he changes his mentality, and let's face it, I mean. As I said, he's got a manager. If he comes back to Atleti, which I think he will or he should, just listen to your manager, and he'll find a way to make you better.
And everything will be okay. But let's go deeper a little bit on Barcelona if we can. Is Xavi the manager you expected him to be?
No, but I never expected Barcelona to be as they are, right? I mean, that is an unbelievable fall from grace for a club like this to be in a financial situation like this, where all the players seem to be getting worse. I mean, that's the story, right? When you go to Barcelona, that's a dream. Everybody always says that, no matter where you play, if Barcelona or Real Madrid call, you have to go. And yet you have players that, come to Barcelona, and it's hard to think at the moment who are the players that are getting better right now? Because, I look at Robert Lewandowski, right? I look at Frenkie de Jong. I look at Ronald Araujo, another player who, wow, was incredible last year. I mean, where is he? Where's Koundé? I mean, remember a couple windows ago, everybody wanted Koundé on their team. Everybody in Europe. Oh, my goodness, can play right back, can play center back. And I don't know anymore. I mean, we could go on and on and on, and it makes you wonder, is it just Xavi? Maybe it is too early. Maybe he's still learning as he's going. He's a young manager, I suppose. Got a lot of young players who he's bringing up. But I think everybody around him is not helping him. And in fact, they're failing Xavi and the club. I just think the whole situation is a mess. I never thought that Barcelona financially are going to be where they are.
Let's talk about Frenkie de Jong. It's his 5 years coming up at Barcelona. What have you made of those 5 years? Because there's been a lot of talk from Xavi lately about, he was asked if you'd had Frenkie, Pedri and Gundogan all together, all fit, all season, would things be different? And he said, yeah, they would be different. Maybe not in terms of results, but I would definitely be having more my style of play on the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, I still believe in Frenkie de Jong. He hasn't gotten better, but I mean, I feel for him, right? I mean, okay, if you had Frenkie a whole year, but I mean, this is the Barcelona team that was begging him to leave. I mean, they wanted to sell him because they had to, right? I mean, they owed him money. They had to take a pay cut. A lot of players took a pay cut. I don't know if he's gotten paid back.
But Janusz, was that more down to circumstance? Because saying you wanted to leave because you needed to bring money in and you needed to free up money. It was more that your hands were tied. As a player, you'd have rather kept if you could
sure,
have.
but as a player, you never wanted to hear it, right? If I'm Frenkie de Jong and they wanted him so badly and he was, in a way, a perfect fit, I would have been, if I was there, I'd probably leave him as one of the last players that I want to get rid of. I understand value, but I try to get rid of 3 or 4 players before I even mention the name of Frenkie de Jong. That's what I would do, because he's an elite central midfielder. That's not going to change. Yes, he's not playing to his potential, and that's part of the injuries, maybe some of the things that I've been saying. But positionally, I mean, he's been thrown around everywhere. That's not necessarily new to him, because if you remember at Ajax, I remember him playing at center back. Although I think at Barcelona he's played a couple games there as well. But I mean, at times he's being asked to do what Busquets has done, and that's not necessarily his thing, right? I mean, he's capable of doing it, but not to a degree that Busquets had done. So I feel for him. I still think there's a player there, but I mean, I think it's hard. Maybe I'm making too many excuses, and I don't think he's been the worst. Let's put it that way.
They are 8 points behind Girona. They played a game less. They're 7 behind Real Madrid. They played the same amount of games. Are Barcelona in it?
No, they're not. It's just not. That's not going to happen. It's just Real Madrid are a much better team. Let's not forget the head-to-head situation that's going to come into play as well. So this is at a level right now that too many players are underperforming. Barcelona can't fix a lot of their problems in the market. So nothing's going to change in terms of that. And if you look at Real Madrid, just going from strength to strength, they still have a couple players to recover. When you look at the quality and depth of squad, it's not going to happen. I mean, you're talking about Girona being more of a Barcelona than Barcelona themselves, right? I mean, I enjoy watching Girona much more than I enjoy watching Barcelona.